The pathways for nitrogen fixation are diverse. Nitrogen binding occurs during volcanic activity, atmospheric lightning discharges, and the combustion of meteors. However, an incomparably greater role in the nitrogen fixation process belongs to living organisms. Nitrogen is a part of all living organisms as the basis of amino and acid and nucleic acid molecules. In the atmosphere, molecular nitrogen accounts for over 70%. But this vast reserve is not used directly by higher plants, as breaking the strong bonds between atoms in the N2 molecule requires a lot of energy. Nitrogen-fixing microorganisms convert molecular nitrogen into a bound state, forming compounds with an amino group, NH2. From it, the primary product of nitrogen fixation, which is then incorporated into the biogeochemical cycle by all other organisms, microbes, plants, fungi, and animals. The biological assimilation of the atmospheric molecular nitrogen by nitrogen-fixing organisms, with the formation of its compounds accessible for use by other living organisms, including plants, is one of the most important processes in the nitrogen circulation. Soil contains a small amount of nitrogen in the form of nitric acid salts. Soil humus contains 3–5%, rarely up to 10% nitrogen. But even these forms are poorly available to plants. The work of converting soil nitrogen into absorbable forms is performed by nitrogen-fixing bacteria, which settle on plant roots. Nodules with nitrogen-fixing organisms develop, in particular, on representatives of the legume family. Nodule bacteria living on the roots of legumes produce up to 350 kilograms of fixed nitrogen per hectare per year, approximately 1,000 times more than free-living nitrogen-fixing organisms. Annually, bacteria convert at least 1 billion tons of nitrogen into a bound form. A small portion of plant-available nitrogen compounds is formed during protein decay. Subsequently, nitrogen-rich compounds, ammonia, ammonium ions, amino acids, are oxidized in water and soils by nitrate and nitrite-forming bacteria into nitrogen oxides. At the final stage of the cycle, bacteria convert these oxides back into molecular nitrogen, which enters the atmosphere. Only 1/1000th of the biosphere's nitrogen is bound in the biomass and metabolites of organisms. Industrial nitrogen fixation is likely the largest human intervention in the biogeochemical cycles of substances. The world industry produced 20 million tons of fixed nitrogen in 1968, and 15 years later this amount already exceeded 1,000 million tons. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, the nitrogen balance in the biosphere is generally balanced. However, in some regions an excess of ammonia and nitrates is observed, leading to soil and water pollution and serious human diseases. Acid rain also poses a certain danger. They adversely affect plants and harm human health. On the other hand, intervention in the biological nitrogen fixation holds great promise for increasing agricultural crop yields, primarily food crops.